Hello everybody, in the middle Arctic here, playing some Warthunder. I've been playing the T26E1-1 Super Heavy Tank. Well, not super heavy tank, but it's the Super Pershing. Probably my favorite tank in the game, but considering I don't have any top tier MBTs, but I don't really think that changed anything. Now, before recently actually, it was a it was a 6.7 tank. And the other heavy tank that you could get, the T32 and T29, or not T32, excuse me, that's like, what, 7.7? The T34 completely outclasses it. Everything at 6.7 outclasses it, because 7.7 is a black hole that pulls everything from 6.7 up until 7.7. This thing is constantly fighting 7.7 tanks that it stands no chance against. So recently, surprisingly, Gaijin decided to give it a little bit of a buff by lowering its BR to 6.3. I'm not sure if that's all they did. I honestly have not checked, but for the most part, that's the most noticeable thing. So we have some gameplay in the background of, this map, which it's an alright map, but thankfully it's only a capture point, so, nobody's flanking from A to frickin', or from 8 all the way down, which everybody does. And there's also what I believe down tier. Got some in forward tiers. I think this is either down tier or out at tier. So there's a couple of things going on, and I'm just I just gotta say this now. Since they've lowered the BR, this has became my favorite tank. It went from being my favorite tank to being my favorite tank even more. Not in the jumbo, but no, it doesn't. It suffers the jumbo syndrome where, if it gets up tier, it kind of gets stomped. But ever since they lowered its BR, it doesn't suffer as much. I still think the jumbo suffers a bit more from it, because Tiger 2, so your front plate in your jumbo is just yesh. This is not fun. I don't know why I keep looking at that Commander Cody guy. Also, he was in my last match, which isn't in this, but don't worry about it. But he was in my last match, also playing the Super Pershing as well. I think he's going to be a big help in this match. I'm not too sure. I don't remember what he was doing exactly, but he was going to be a big help. And also, for most of this, or basically all these matches, I was listening to Spotify. So, if you hear me mumbling anything, that's probably why. And it's not like me right now as I'm recording this voiceover. And this is not live gameplay, but this was just like a decent game, so I decided to save it. Simple as that. So, anyways, what was this jumbo over here got completely destroyed, so I was like, okay, well, I should probably help before my team gets flanked or something happens. And also, yeah, the chat, we're talking about Tiger 2s, even though I don't think there was a single Tiger 2 in this game. So, that 76 jumbo never really had anything to worry about except for, Tiger H. Oh yeah, I hear the machine guns. I'm like, what is going on? I was like, somebody trying to bait. I see the Tiger 1, so I trained my gun on him, put it around to the side, and then I started getting shot. So I was like, oh Jesus! I look, and there's a T34, just sitting there up against his wall, firing his machine gun. Didn't even try and shoot me. He could have killed me before I could even kill the Tiger 1. So I would have been good as dead, but he doesn't aim back. I try and one-shot him, but it just ended up hitting his engine and 2 crews, so I reverse. M19 isn't doing anything to him, instead engaging some, I believe, a Tiger over there. And I'm just like, what is this guy doing? I don't know what he was, like. He's just sitting there up against the wall, firing his machine guns, not being helpful, not shooting at me, not shooting at the M19 that was over there. Just, I was very confused. That's why I kind of just sit there. I'm like, what? I just hear that. Oh, I see a Tiger. I don't know if he sees me. Sneak around straight underneath his gun barrel that goes into his hole for a one-shot. That was honestly like the dirtiest shot I've seen. Then this M19 dies, another one. So I was like, oh, okay, well, there's somebody right here. I didn't know if there really close up against the wall or something, so I try to use the M19's body as a shield, disappears, and then I see a Tiger E at the last second. Thankfully, put a shot into his lower plate, so he's dead. I thought there was another Tiger, but thankfully for me, that was the one I just killed. But there is something slightly to his right, and that is, I believe, a T34. T34 is gonna go straight through his upper frontal plate, or IS1, IS2, IS1. Yeah, see in the background yelling about something. I didn't realize my mic was muted, so I wasn't talking a lot, but there's just like little parts where I'll say something. It's not necessarily needed. Alright, so Crusader AA is over here is by himself, and they're marking something. I think they killed a couple. They killed a couple of things over there, but he's still marking something. So I'm like, all right, well, we have the A point, so might as well try and see what's up with this guy. He still hasn't died, surprisingly. He's pretty lucky for that. Or I guess he was distracting him, or somebody else was distracting him. There you see, he starts repairing, so he obviously got hit. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll pull around this corner to help. And somebody, the other T26, Cody, Commander Cody, helps us out. And he takes care of that Tiger. But then he gets knocked out by an IS-2 immediately after. And I don't think I didn't read the chat, so I was just like, okay, well, the Tiger's dead, so that's fine. Didn't read the chat, didn't know this was an IS-2. So I turn the corner, try and put it around right into that angled part, bounces, unfortunately. So I'm like, oh god, he's gonna try and shoot through my turret. I don't know if it'll work. Might bounce down into my springs. Nope. Get a shot off before him, get it into his cannon breach. And that's the end of him. There's nothing he can do. I'm gonna reload before he can do anything. And we have the AA sitting right there just harassing him. But still doesn't die. Turret cheeks eating my rounds. Somebody else gets a kill on him, so I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. You're cool, buddy. And it's just this tank. If this was, you know, the previous patch, I would have been on Shut Up Me. I would have been on Fate. That would have been a Tiger 2. Or something, possibly even an IS-6, because I've ran into IS-6s in this thing. And there's nothing you can do against that tank. So, it's just... I'm just happy that they finally lowered the BR. Hopefully they do this for a lot more tanks that need it. Like you see there, I'm just like, I'm happy. I'm like, T26 is so good now, and it is. I wouldn't say it's the best tank, definitely not the best tank at this BR, but it's so much better than it used to. And because there's not that many 7.3 tanks, you don't get up tier all that often. Oh yeah, there is an RU-251. You know, you have those tanks that sneak into your BR every once in a while and proceed to flank and spank your entire team, because everybody seems to have the situational awareness of fucking GOAT whenever one of those guys pops up. But no, it's all fine. Get best squad because Commander Cody. I was like, wait, why'd I get best squad here? That doesn't make a lot of sense. And I was like, oh yeah, squatted with the other guy. So now we're on Kursk, and I don't like Kursk. Maybe it's because before, like, I'm going to be talking about past 6.7 stuff, like, it's Kursk, Tiger 2Es, Jagged Panthers, Jagged Tigers sitting up on the hills, and I'll drive for 5-6 minutes, get up there, see a Tiger 2E, he'll spot me before I spot him, and then I'll eat around into my upper frontal plate, or it'll get bounced into my freaking hole from the springs from this giant gun, and I'll die. And all I have left to spawn in is an M19, but the rest of my team is getting, it's like, just kept back at that hill, and they can't push forward. So not much I can do in that aspect. Even if I spawn an M19, I guess I could go to one of the capture points, but you know, there's probably a tank destroyer sitting there just waiting for people to go there just to try and pick up free food. So Like, it's just things that, just when stuff like that happened, it's pretty upsetting. That's especially why I don't like these larger maps on tier. Well, at this tier, I mean, at this tier, it's like okay, it kind of works, but top tier would be better. Like, honestly, if I got like cursed 10 times in a row, I'd prefer to get abandoned factory 10 times in a row than freaking curse. I'd rather have the Great Migration to Sea than have to play curse 10 games in a row. It like, and I couldn't change what tank I was using, so it's just whatever tank I was using at the time. That's what I do, what I'd use. So I'm deciding, you know what? I'm not gonna make it to the capture point, as evident by how my entire team is in Hellcats and completely rushed it. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to go to A, because nothing's going to happen if I go there, so I'm going to go slightly to the side of B, hope that nobody sees me, and then I'm going to try and pull up behind B and just take out as many tanks as I can. Just make sure that we keep that secured, because as long as we have the 2 capture points, and there's a guy by C, I believe that's a M18, I don't know what he's doing, but as long as we have 2 capture point, it's fine. Like, there's no problem. This sub dog guy is upset. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't even think there was a single M22 Locust that got spawned. I know we had a bunch of M18s though, so he's probably referring to that, but still. So I'm driving up, looking around. I think our I don't know what it was. I think it was a Challenger. Something got, no, not Challenger, but a British tank got knocked by a BFW Jack Panther early in the match. So I'm like, okay, well, where is this guy? I don't want to have the same thing happen to me. And that's just unlucky for him, honestly. I was like, he's probably camping somewhere in the back by A, or is still moving, so yeah, I don't know. Not too sure what happened to him. Honestly, we don't see him. He doesn't come into play. I don't even think I see him in the kill feed again. So we're pulling up our great plan to take a super long time flanking, because this tank is not fast. We're just barely getting 14, and we just lost all our speed from turning. So I see a tank, or I hear a tank shoot, so I turn. We're looking for, what is it? I think it was a Tiger. I believe it was a Tiger that killed one of our tanks. So look, I see another gunfire, so I'm like, oh, okay. Where is it? I don't quite see it. I see the Tiger barrel sticking out. Try to line it up. Bam. Straight into the side. That's a nice shot, but side shot, so it would kill him anyways. And this guy does not notice. This is where the Germans are blind me comes from. Like, look. I sit there, shot a Tiger 2 in the side, and there's another Tiger 2 right there. I was like, oh, maybe I should switch, but nope. I was just like, whatever. I'll kill the Tiger 1. I'll just get behind the Tiger 2 if he decides to switch, and he never looks at me. I don't even think he turns his turret to look to his right at all. And I put a round straight into the back, or into the side of his turret as well. That's 3 kills. All because they have 0 situational awareness. Like, if that Tiger had even turned a little bit, he might have been able to kill me, honestly. Because if he had just angled and my round bounced, he would have had an easy shot on my, well, you could probably go through my turret. Either that or my upper frontal plate, because, you know, that spaced armor doesn't really work. Or, well, it's not programmed to work in Warthunder, which is another thing they need to fix, matter of fact. Honestly, you should be stopping a lot more rounds. Kill an IS-1 there, who I just barely saw and dinked him. I think he was about to look at me. I'm not quite sure. I'll see. This is kind of what cost them the game. They have about 5 planes up at once. Now, me having my glorious, absolutely Subarashi 50 cals, I decide I'm trying to shoot at these guys. This guy does a tiny little home run at me. I thought he had bombs. I was scared for my life. And then I get shot in the rear. So I'm like, okay, well, where did that shot come from? Thought it came from back right in between those 2 houses? No. I'm still not sure, so I'm like, no, I need to see. Let me turn off this fire. Get shot. I see it's to my left, so I'm like, What is that? See, I see it finally after like the 4th shot. So I'm like, where? Try the machine gun for him. And I'm like, okay, he's right there. Put around, miss. And get killed by T-34-85. Those bushes saved him. He's sitting right next to the side. Like, I could not see him for the life of me. But I decided, no, I should spawn in a plane. I'm like, no. They have a million planes up. And we also have no people, like, I was like checking, I was like, who do we still have alive? We only have M18s and M19s. So I'm like, no, I should bring my Pershing back out. The Super Pershing doing super things. And this is where things start going bad. So I've died, we've lost the B point. This Comet right next to me, he's clutching this. He is going to be one of the reasons why we win. So me and him are going to try and get back to the capture point as quick as we can. I'm going to try and just shoot a couple of planes. Just get them to go away, get out of our spawn. Come on now, don't spot us. And me and him are just going to try and get to B as quickly as we can. Now, we've lost all the capture points. Somebody on their team took A, probably that Jag Panther that I talked about earlier. And we're losing C, or I think we just took C, but we're about to lose it. Anyways, they're gonna have all their caps soon. Spoilers, but you know, whatever. And if one of these guys had just bailed out of their tank or plane, like that dude crashed out, so he might have bailed or he was damaged, I don't know. But all they needed to do was spawn in more tanks and just hold the caps. They did not need all these planes. We were really hurting on tanks at this point. A Comet speeding off felt me because I am not as fast as him. Like, we spawned at the same time. I think I spawned in a little bit faster, but basically spawned at the same time, and he's that much farther ahead. I still said the same thing. Whatever. I don't think it makes sense. But that just goes to show how slow this tank is. And in all honesty, this really isn't even a heavy tank. It's a medium tank with a different cannon and add-on armor. If you want to get technical. There was even, I believe there was a Reddit post on the Warthunder Reddit boards, or I think it was just the Warthunder boards actually, but where they're talking about how they should have the medium tank classification and not the heavy tank classification that it currently does. Because it is literally a modification of just a Pershing. That with all they did was add the cannon and then add the armor to their front plate, what they took from Panther, or not for the front plate, the turret plate. So I get shot, and I'm just like, oh god, my cannons are real high, so I need to angle. Get shot from the left. I'm like, okay, what? ASU, I did not even know that. I was just trying to scout them, so I was like, okay, well, that's cool. One thing less thing to worry about. Also, remember that ASU. I don't think it's that specific one, but just remember ASU later. So I see this T-34 over here. I'm like, let me get this right. Dink him. T-34-57. I don't know what he was doing. And literally all he needed to do was put it into my side and not into my turret, and he would have been fine. Pause, maybe, who knows. So more planes flying about, and they just do this the rest of the match. They just circle around the planes. This guy shoots me, so I just stop. He would have killed me if I had not just hit the brakes. He would have killed me. Thankfully, for some reason, I pick up the kill for that guy. I'm not too sure why, but I was like, okay, cool. He might have been one of the tanks that I hit earlier, but who knows. So as of right now, we've lost all 3 caps, and they have about 6 players to our, I'd say, 5. 6 to our 5, with 2 of our guys being in planes. And only 2 of us in actual tanks, the other guy in a spa, who's way at spawn. So right now, the Comet's sitting on the capture point. I get on the capture point, and it doesn't start de-ticking, so we know there's 2 people on this cap right now. I'm like, alright, so who's still here? And I twitch and see that T-34. That is the T-34 that killed me. Put around it to his side. Thankfully, it doesn't bounce, and he's dead. So the cap starts going down. So I'm like, okay, there's one more guy on here. Let's find him. Thought that was him. I stopped, just fired my machine guns. I'm like, okay, good. those death bodies really scare me sometimes. Like, so they're just sitting there. It's his gun barrel is looking directly at me too, even if he was dead. So I was like, oh my, that's not fun. I'm like driving through here, and I'm like, all right, so he has to be somewhere over here, right? Looking for him. Thought the Tiger II was another actual tank again. It's Tiger II that I killed earlier. I see more of their planes flying around, some of ours as well. I think we only have one left at this point. No, we still have both. I'm gonna just look. Our Comet is right now booking to the sea point. He's trying to get there as quickly as he can. Because if he does not get there, I'm not going to be able to get there in time. So I decide, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and defend B. Because he's our only lifeline as of right now. If he goes down, we lose the game. Because there's going to be nobody to get to C in time. Nobody's close to A. And our spawn's at B right now. So he takes out a BTR 152. Which, thankfully that wasn't like a T34 or anything like that. So I'm like, clutch this. Come on now, Comet when you got this. So they're like, come on, Comet when you got this. Clutch this game. Also because I'm using a controller that takes super long to type. So it's not because I type slowly. If that was a keyboard, that would have been like, I don't know how long, but you know, not a long time. So I decided, no, what? I'm not gonna go to the spawn, but I want to sit right here, right where I could see if they're whether or not they're gonna go to spawn or not, or go to C. If they're gonna go to C, I'll see them. If they're trying to go to B, I'll see them. Best way to keep B secure with our spawn being close by. So I shoot at the highest one. First bounce is a little bit too high, a little bit too low. I could have gone through his lower plate as well, but hit straight through the middle and it bounced unluckily. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to die here. That'd be terrible. So try and bait a shot. He misses and put a shot right through that little cheeky spot. Honestly, that probably would have bounced. In all honesty, luckily it didn't. So he died. So I'm like, I'm just gonna post it right here and just keep an eye out for any tanks. As you see, he's just decapped C. And I see top of a T34. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to try and dink this guy. I got to stop him from getting to C because he's trying to book it there to cap it. So I was like, alright, our spawn points or not spawn points, our tickets are leaking right now. See this guy try and track him, shot a little bit too low. So I'm like, alright. Eat around to my side from another T-34, and at this point the only people alive are the Russians. All of the Germans have died because they all spam tanks. Well, I believe there was a couple Russian planes up too, but most, or not spam tanks, spam planes, but most of them spammed CAS when there was absolutely no need to. So our spawn points are basically gone. I put a shot into this T-34-85 and get shot again. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing my job. I'm distracting all the C-34s, keeping them from going to the cap, letting our Comet do his job, and I'm going to kill this guy. I'm gonna take out what his driver or its engine, which I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. Gives me time to prep my next shot. He shoots my cannon barrel, so I'm like, alright, well, that's annoying. And then I get shot from the side from a T-34-85, I believe. I actually do believe, oh yeah, or not a T-34, it was the IS-1. P-47 in saves my life, thankfully. Love the jug. Good shit in that Thunderbolt, buddy. And some Comet from C kills that T-34-85 that I was shooting at, and then I die to an ASU-57. Of all the things that could have killed me, it was an ASU-57. So I'm like, alright, well, I did my job. Hopefully that doesn't cause us to lose the game. And I just sit here. Just sit here and wait. Just trying to see whether or not we win. So far, we have all 3 caps. Our spa decided to go to A. And I think the only guy left on their team is that ASU. So that's pretty much a win. Freaking P-47 marks him. I'm just sitting there, I'm like, should I spawn anything in? I'm like, no, there's no reason to. Spawn in a plane would wouldn't really help out right now. It's basically just all up to these guys. I wouldn't get back in time even if I spawned in anything. So I guess that just goes to show how effective lowering something's BR really is. I guess that'll be all for now, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. It's a really close match, honestly.